Alright guys, been asked to do a video on cost of living here in Spain. Obviously the Brexit goes up and down in the sense of it affects the UK exchange rate to the euro. But to be fair, when we first got here, I think it was 124. And now it's probably, I don't know, 114, 120, whatever. Yeah, probably doesn't get to 120 these days. But the point is, it does fluctuate. On a monthly basis, it can make a difference of €100 or something on, what you're transferring across. So that's one thing you want to look at if you are looking at moving out here, is just understand that the market rates can fluctuate on the exchanges. But even then, I don't think it really impacts too much. It does, like I said, it can make a difference of about 100 quid, because obviously we're transferring about €1,000 or what, £1,000 or whatever. It does have that little bit of a fluctuation in there, but you shouldn't plan on living so tight to the your budget. You always need an emergency budget. There's always something that goes wrong, whether you like it or not. Plus, there's also, you find when you first move, you have extra expenditures. Like you'll use a Hester, which is basically somebody who works as a translator, fills in your paperwork and extorts money. Or you may use them, like the guy down the pub, he'll fill in some forms for you and charge you €40 for something that's free, because they understand the Spanish. First thing I say is, try and do some of this stuff yourself. You get stuck, then go to the Hester or whatever, because a lot of you guys are retired. One thing you have got is time, and once you crack it and understand it, it's so much easier and saves you money at the same time. And you'll often find that where you're getting the forms from, there's forms for other stuff. So it's not as complicated as people make it, and people make out it's quite difficult, but the only difficulty in this is it's in Spanish, where a lot of people are used to doing exactly the same in English in the UK. So you just got to take that on the chin and just start looking at learning some Spanish. And a lot of the time, you can use your phone. If you use the Google Translate, it can convert on the screen. So it can actually read some of the text for you as well, because a lot of it's very simple. It's the same sort of form you would get with surnames, maiden names, age, date of birth, all that sort of stuff. So it's not overly complicated for the majority of it. Immigration is a little bit more complex, but for the majority of stuff that guys are doing, it's not that bad. So first thing is cost of properties. Now, I've covered this so many times, but property values, for a new construction over an old one, I find the prices are significantly higher on newer constructions. Obviously, all the sales agents' fees. But for example, the house we've got here is 3-bed, 20 metres from the coast. We're talking roughly about 180,000. I say roughly because you'll struggle to get what we paid for this, but we spent a lot of money on renovations, but it works out around 180 plus. But if you go next street across, similar size plot, new build, it's probably about 400,000. So that's the sort of numbers you're looking at. And what's the difference? One looks more modern than the other. Construction methods haven't jumped that far forward. It's not like it's all a smart home or something else. So my personal view is renovate an older place. It just seems a better deal. That money's always better in my bank account than someone else's. Electrical costs, it changes throughout the year, because in the hot months you might have the aircon on, and in the winter you have the heating on, and then you'll find the rest of the time you may have no heating or cooling on, depending where you live. So what we find is our electric bills, what do they go between?
The highest was 280.
So 280,
March.
and that was in March, which is the colder months.
Yeah.
Well, that is that for March, or is that for January and February?
No, March.
No,
'Cause
it's
that was
March.
when the heavy rains.
Yeah, so it's during the
It was
heavy
very
rains.
cold.
And cheapest,
Cheapest was in June. We had 100.
I thought you had one at 65.
No, that's like December 20 when we moved here. Just
Oh,
like 10
okay.
days
So how
later.
much is cheapest?
100.
So cheapest about 100. So you're talking between 100 and max of about 300. And it's sort of, you can reduce it if you want to. I've got to admit, I put the heating on more when I'm home because April and the kids don't bother too much. But we've got these Mitsubishi aircon units which are pretty good, and can run one unit and it'll heat most of the house because there's no doors here, so it sort of goes up. It just takes that chill out.
Yeah, and in the summer we alternated to dehumidifier instead of running it in a cool AC,
Yeah,
which
and
makes sense because we're near the coast.
yeah, so in the summer you can swap the dehumidifier mode, which is allegedly up to 50% cheaper instead of heating and cooling. But you can read up on that yourself and what model aircon you have. But the dehumidifier mode is supposed to be a lot cheaper. That's part of one of the functions on the aircon. Water rates. How much is our water?
It used to be 85 when we were at the flat. This would be gas for bath.
Yeah.
Now it's 65 every 3 months.
Is that 65 a month or 65 for 3 months? Yeah, so it's 65 for 3 months. At the old place, it was in the 80s because our son likes to have a bath. Here we don't have a bath, we only got showers. So he doesn't have that luxury, and it's saving me some money every month.
Well, you get the jacuzzi in summer.
Yeah, we do have the jacuzzi in the summer instead. Yeah, but we don't. He doesn't use that every day. The other thing is with we've got that. What about the food bills? Because they've gone up, haven't they?
Yeah. My monthly Mercadona shop it used to be just around 250, 260.
So
You know, with school kids, with
yeah,
snacks. But now it's gone up to nearly 300.
so it's gone from about 260 to 300, and that's for a family of four. That's Mercadona, but you're finding El Campo cheaper, aren't you? Yeah, Al Campo. So it's worth doing a comparison against the supermarkets. 'Cause I do find Carrefour's more expensive generally, then Mercadona, then Al Campo seems to be cheaper now, where before I think it's more expensive. But we have a bit of a mixed shop because we go to Iceland sometimes for Christmas stuff because you get all the pigs in the blanket and all the other stuff that you won't get elsewhere.
There are still stuff that you shop from, specific place because you like their stuff better than the other one, and the other one is better at this than.
Yeah. It's depending what you're shopping for. So that's the shopping. Car. We only use probably about €100 a month, to be fair, because we don't use it as much as when we first come here. We don't seem to travel out as much as we used to, do we? Probably because I don't have enough time. But yeah, I don't find we use too much. And the bus, they've got rid of the free passes, haven't they, now on the bus? The bus pass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Elaborate. I don't use the bus. So.
Oh yeah, it's still I still have my free card.
I thought they got rid of them.
No, they still haven't finalized it.
Oh, yeah, because I noticed they weren't going to go all electric, but it seems the buses are older than they were before. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they've done there.
The bus fare is now 155 from 135 for.
Yeah, so is
more
that
than 10
for?
years?
Yeah, so it's 155 from here to Torrevieja.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bus is like less than €2, which that's each way, isn't it?
Yeah, but they have different ones. Like if you buy bus pass for €20, you get to pay instead of 155. It will only cost 150. It's mainly
It's a
for
discount
tourists. Yeah.
rather than a bus pass, though. So it's not like they give you a month's pass. Although they probably do have. Worth checking at the bus station because I'm sure they'll be like the UK where. It's a bit like my train line one where they have about 30 different train passes, and only one of them's on the route I use. but yeah, there'll be other options in there. But to be fair, where we are on the matter, the market's at the back of us. It's actually on today. So we do find the fresh produce is fairly cheap, though, isn't it? And a lot of it's accessible, in the sense of the market's there. But the thing is, they don't have much vegetables, though, do they? Because normally I find it's peppers and things rather than
They do.
carrots and swede and
No, they do have a variety. You just didn't go further.
yeah, yeah. So if you want fresh fruit, I'd look at the markets because I think most of the guys are actually
They
from
have a
the
lot of open
from the
markets.
farms. So the produce is pretty fresh, and I think in Spain somewhere getting on nearly 70% of all all farm produce is organic, allegedly. I read that, but the whole point is I can't remember where I read it. So if somebody thinks it's different, please let us know. Um, what else is there? That's that. What about school costs? Because they do. We haven't to buy the books. How much are the books
I
costing
know
us?
they're in secondary. Yeah, there are some books that they have to photocopy instead of buying the entire book.
Yeah, they illegally encouraged to photocopy the books rather than buy them. Yes,
12
encouraged by the
euros.
schools. Yeah. So what they buy the counterfeit ones for €12.
No, the original book is from the teacher or something.
Okay. Yeah, but what's the €12 for?
Photocopy.
The illegal. So the
The
school are
school.
selling illegal materials. Yeah, the school are encouraging counterfeiting and then making the kids buy the books. But I'm all for it.
They only buy the workbooks, like
Yeah, it's,
English and Valencian
yeah,
subjects.
because I know when I did some of my courses, they go, "Oh, it's a new version," and they would charge you full rate when you could get last year's version. So for a lot of it, I've got no issue with it. To be fair, 'cause a lot of it is extortionate in the first place, a captive audience. But they're not as expensive before. Because remember when what was it, like €200, wasn't it, before in the primary? We paid in 1 year.
No, there was a free books from the government. They give you the check that will
Yeah,
nearly cost 200 euros, but the government will give you a
yeah,
free
but I
check.
think on the first year we paid it, didn't
No,
we?
no, no, no.
We did.
We
I
didn't.
remember paying out of my own pocket. It was
No,
probably before we were
that's
in the
only
system.
door. The books we never paid.
We did. We had to get them from Carrefour. We did.
No.
Did. So yeah, you just go watch for some of those charges. No, and then they have the kids clubs and the Commodore now, the canteen. Are they eating at school or they take packed lunch now?
No, that's primary only.
So they have to take packed lunch.
Yes.
Yeah. So before you were paying, how much was it a meal?
450.
So it's 4.50 a meal. So got two kids. That's €9. But the point being is that's daily. Now it's packed lunch because they're now in secondary school. Um, so the expenses ain't too bad there now.
No.
They do have a lot of excursions though, don't they?
At the moment there's only 2 listed, but
Yeah, because where's Ubi been this year? Because he went off to, where did he go?
just in the town, and then the other one will be next is Valencia.
Yeah, but he went away, didn't he, for the,
That's primary, the before graduation,
yeah,
the school trip, an overnight.
where?
Albacete.
Albacete. Okay. You can add some details because it makes it more interesting for people listening.
Trying to remember.
Yeah, they went away on the trip. Okay, thanks. Great help.
Right.
Yeah, so they had like a. Didn't they have a disco as well?
Yeah, there's loads of
Yeah,
activities. They did
so
water
80s.
rafting. Um, what else? Airsoft.
Yeah,
No,
arch
paintball.
paintballing. Yeah, he
Zip
liked it.
line, paintball. Uh, it's a camping resort type of thing.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, they had. Oh, he had a lot of fun on that one. Um, what else have we got? Yeah, car mechanics are a bit iffy. I've got to admit, I've probably gone through about 10 plus mechanics, and I've got one. The rest I wouldn't trust with a horse and cart. Never mind a car. Um, Definitely not with a horse. But the absolutely abysmal, extortionate, and absolutely rubbish. It's not my personal opinion. A lot of people say exactly the same. It seems quite a common problem. So we use, I think it's Harry's Mobile or something. Isn't it? It seems okay. He managed to sort the filter problem on the car. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't cheap, but it did get the issue resolved. And to be fair, it's an expensive repair anyway. I'm not saying he was overcharging me. I'm just saying it was an expensive fix on the car. What else do we have? The medical insurance. How much is that now?
130.
So it's 130 a month for the four of us,
Yeah.
and that includes. Is it up to 3 months internationally as well?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, because when I went out to the Philippines, I knew I had coverage while I was in the Philippines as well.
Yeah.
It's good insurance. That's sort of like a 50-50 split though, isn't it? No, hang on, you jump in there. It doesn't cover all the insurance, does it? Because you have to dip into your pocket because they send you a bill.
Co-payment.
Yeah, it's a co-payment.
It's not so bad.
Well, it's not so bad until you have like something major, then it will be be expensive. But yeah, it's a co-payment one, which to be fair works for us. I mean, I had my physio for my back and stuff on it, and they're pretty good. Then the dentist insurance is, what's that, about 190? Is it a year or something?
No, it's 15 every 3 months.
15 every 3 months. So it's 120 a year. So how many people's that for?
4.
Well, have I got insurance on that then? I thought you had the insurance separate.
No, I went into another one because they were
Okay.
it come out cheaper than the other one.
Yeah, so it's 120 a year. Is that a co-payment one or is that full payment?
Yes, cool.
It's co-payment as well. So, but they give some free stuff, don't they?
Yeah, but if you have the insurance, you still, like say if you have like tooth extraction, you still like save about at least 60-80% if you just go directly to the
because the rates are sort of negotiated, so they're extremely cheap in comparison to going direct. So even paying a co-payment, you'll find they'll have 68% cheaper than you would if you're direct, almost like a discount card, or being like going to the builder's merchant and you've got an account set up and they'll give you 60-80% off on certain things because you have that much money going through them. So I assume they've got some very good negotiated rates with the dentist companies, not just the dentistries at a local level, but probably nationwide. So the dentistry isn't too bad either. What else have we got expenses wise? Eating out. April likes to eat out a lot. Don't point at me.
From 8 to 8.
Yeah, so our meals start from about 8 to 80 for the four of us. We don't get 4 for 8.
Feeding 4 people for 4 euros.
No, that's eating in the house.
5
8 euros for a meal.
I can feed you for 5 euros.
Yeah,
so 4 people.
Yeah, so in the house 5 to 8 a meal. But when we eat out, it varies, isn't it? Because it's like it could be. I think we find with 4 of us, it's normally around with food and drink. It's probably about 25 upwards, isn't it? Because if we went for hot dogs and a Coke, it's like 20 odd. And then if we, like we went to Las Flores, the last video or the previous one before that, was it 86 or something?
Depends what you're eating.
Yeah, so, but that is for 4 people. And Obi seems to eat a pizza that's designed for a family, but he seems to have one every time we're out. So eating out can be expensive, but it's like one of those things, you don't have to do it. We're quite happy to eat at home because the weather's better. You can have the barbecue on the balcony. We sometimes have a Korean barbecue as well as just the burgers and sausage type stuff. And a lot of the fresh produce is nearby, so you can do quite a lot food wise. I find it's better than where I am in the UK. And I say where I am because the access to this stuff isn't great. Where here, nearly everything's on my doorstep. Where in the UK, even finding eggs was a bit weird last time I went in there because they didn't even have eggs in the local shop. I'm trying to think what else expense-wise we have. Oh, glasses. But to be fair, these are probably going to be on par with the UK. Although I find these are pretty rubbish. These from Specsaver, was it 2 for 100 or something? Or 2 for 200?
150.
150. And they'll do the test and that for you. But like I said, I'm not happy with these. I'm probably going to change them because these rubber bits, I've lost them on 4 glasses now. So I think I'm going to change the style of glasses, get something a bit more robust. But yeah, so the glasses, the opticians down near Habaneras. And pretty much most of the places are lots of street parking as well, isn't there? So it's not that there isn't too many problems with parking, except in high season, which makes it entertaining.
Town centres.
In town centre, yeah. Parking in Torrevieja is just generally a nightmare because people live above all the shops and everything as well. So it's always busy. There's no quiet time. 2 in the morning, obviously everybody's home. During the day, people are working. So there's always cars there. I can't think of any other costs. Oh, we haven't talked about the house too much, have we? So I've been hammering the mortgage. So our mortgage is under 400 now. The insurance I've sort of left with the bank for now because they were going to penalise me for changing it from them. I think it's I know I'm overpaying it, don't get me wrong. I think they charged me something like 280 or something on the house. But the other thing is you can pay your mortgage on this is on Banco Sabadell. You can log in and you can make partial payments pretty much all the time. So they think they charge you 1% or something of what you're paying, not the whole mortgage, just what you. So they'll just charge you like a couple of euros for every time you make a payment. For me, I'm keen to get that mortgage down to nothing because that's my thorn in the side. That's my big expenditure every month. It's got life insurance as well, which sort of covers the house, I think. What about the taxes? You're the IVA person, aren't you? You're the tax. So what's the property taxes we have to pay? Maybe doesn't know. I think on the property this size, it's about 250 a year for the taxes. Because the reason I know that is because the house that is on the beach, 3-bedroom, similar size, that's how much the guy was paying there, was 250 a year. So that's, and then you pay for the bins as well, don't you?
Yeah, 21 euros every quarter.
So that's 21 euros every quarter. Is all that done by the summer office? Do we have to do anything ourselves?
Automatic.
It's all done by the summer, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, it.
Yeah, and one thing, we don't have the communal fees.
Yeah. Expat and Mazaron mentioned this earlier. I was watching one of his videos about paying a gestor or a lawyer to deal with it. Go into your local summer office and you can get it all set up by direct debit. So the car tax is deducted. I can't remember how much that is. It's extortionate on that because it's a diesel. It's a diesel sports one, so it's I think it's turboed. Is it turbo? It's got at least injectors on it, isn't it? It's definitely injectors because it's diesel, but I think that's extortionate, something like 280 a year. Where I think the old van was expensive as well. That was about 300, but I think we're going to get a cheaper car at some point. But since this is running well, and the amount I've spent on repairs, we're going to keep it for 3 years. April can learn to drive and she can crash it as much as she likes. Bump parking, that couldn't care less. Yeah, rather than go and buy a new car, April passes the test and within an hour it's got a dent in the side of it because that one had a dent within 2 hours, didn't it? It's got it home and somebody had already crashed into it. Madre mia. I've gone off on tangent. Yeah, so you pay like that, and I think we have to have the MOT done every year. How much is that?
55.
Yeah, it's about 55. But it changes depending on what car or van or whatever vehicle it is. There's multiple rates. So I'm not going to confirm yours is this, because you'll go, mine was completely different. Yeah, that's because yours is a 2-year-old petrol car. There's different levels on. I'm not sure if it's engine sizes and things like that. But when you go for your what's it called? ITV. They've got it in their reception that tells you how much they are. I find it's a lot less strict in the UK. And to be fair, I'm all for people being responsible for themselves. So myself, I'm quite happy with the car. I mean, it's not a very old car. It's just a crappy diesel engine. I would not be buying another Astra. I'm definitely not buying a Vauxhall or a, what do they call Opal? Just because of the issues are actually with the vehicle itself, not the yeah. But let's get past the diesels. Enough news stories about that, and people where there's blame, there's a claim. So that's the car costs. We've done the shopping, we've done the medical, we've done the schooling. What else have we got?
Clothes.
Yeah, clothing costs. Well, if you go to the charity shops, you can get get it from 50 cents. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of charity shops if you're into that sort of thing. It's not my thing. It's a bit of a running joke because I'm not one of those. I don't even go into Primark. I'm a bit of a snob in that sense. But the thing is, there's Primark, for example. The other one is, what's Lefties? Because Lefties is a
Zara family.
it's part of the Zara family. So you'll have some clothing that's sort of more Zara quality. You know, in a sense, it was a little bit better quality in Lefties than Primark, according to me. Myself, I like Zara, and I like the branded stuff. But even that, I'm a bit fussy on. We were talking about Levi's jeans, about the stitching on the Levi's isn't as good as it used to be, is it, Miller?
Well, they took out
The double stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took out the double stitch. So there's been changes on the design of the Levi's. Is that just on the 501s? And the red tag. The tag on the back is rubbish. Yeah, the ones on the pocket, it's not very good. Have you got them there?
No, this one's got the name.
Is that my one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I'm fatter. The fat guy ones are okay. It's the skinny ones that seem to look cheaper quality. But the bigger you are, the better the quality. That's what they say. No, the bigger one. I think it's because the labels are too small on the smaller sizes.
No, it's just.
This is what we're talking about. This is the label on the back here.
The red tab.
Because the other ones are.
It's just red.
It's just red. There's no Levi's written on it. Maybe they couldn't get it in a smaller font.
No.
I'm going to make a coffee because you can see it's getting very Christmassy in here. This is April's half tree.
I'm not yet finished.
She's still work in progress.
Slim.
So this is a half a tree because there's no
Stop
back to it.
mocking my tree. I'm
not mocking it because it leans against the wall.
Yeah.
Although it's not leaning because it's not allowed to touch the wallpaper. I've got a couple of trees up here. I've got lights in them. Obviously, April's been busy up here as well. Nice wreath on the door. I've gone completely off tangent while I make my coffee. And I've been doing more lights outside because I'm a big fan of the Christmas type thing for the kids, and they're starting to get into it. I mean, before April, I think thought I was mad because I always spend a lot of money at Christmas and do Christmassy stuff. But for me, it's like the one time a year where everyone's together. You're sort of enjoying life, and let all the crap happen the rest of the year. So at Christmas, you go out your way to actually enjoy it. So I do make a big effort at Christmas every year. Being at home.
Not being a crumpus.
Yeah, I'm not being a crumpus, that April just said in the background. She does say I'm quite miserable. Just I complain a lot. I say I don't complain a lot because I laugh when I do it. I just find it funny, some of the stuff people do. But yeah, she does complain that I complain. I'm just thinking what else we got. Oh, internet. We forgot about the internet.
Oh, yeah.
So how much is our internet? Is that about 19, and that's what, how many meg? Is that 300, 600? 300 meg. It's fairly reliable, although when all these tourists come to our town, it does seem to get worse. These people coming into and disrupting our way of life and community. So the internet's fairly cheap, fairly stable, and pretty fast. Yeah, electronics. Some people say they're more expensive in the UK. I've got to admit, I'm not really sure. This is a new TV that occurred recently because my daughter ran into the old one, which was probably less than 6 months old. But how much was that? That was 500 and something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one was 500 and something. I think it's is it a Samsung one? Toshiba. Did have a Sony one, Sony Bravia, and to be fair, half the apps and that didn't work on it, so I was like not impressed with it. So although it did cost €1,000 when my daughter ran into it, I wasn't really that bothered. I know it sounds a bit, but it was just the fact that half the stuff I actually wanted on it didn't work. Yeah, where this one, Android and everything works on it. It does everything, doesn't it?
And the game pixels, they were really good.
Yeah, I think it's Ultra HD. We got them from Amazon, wasn't it? Carrefour. Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, just went down and bought it. The Amazon one. Oh. Yeah, that turned up. When did it turn up? About a month late or something, wasn't it?
2 weeks late.
2 weeks late. And then it was sat here for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks till they noticed they hadn't got it, and then we sent it back because the thing is, they were near impossible to get hold of. So the point is, they sent it, arrived weeks late, sat in our sitting room, and we couldn't get rid of it because we needed them to come and pick it up. But that's first to recognise that it was missing. So yeah, that went back to Amazon. But this one we got from Carrefour. Carrefour seems to have lots of TVs and stuff. I do have a concern over what are the grey products in there, because I think they get a lot of returns and stuff. Because a lot of the boxes seem to be sellotaped, where they've been opened and closed. And we've had like that tablet we had, where it had somebody's emails and everything else already on it.
Yeah.
I know even when I took it back, I said, "Look, this second," they just didn't seem bothered. And I emailed the person, they say your details are on this, and they never got back to us either, just to let them know that, hang on, you better change your password. Yeah. But hey, I thought, this weird guy's emailing me, saying that I bought something, returned something at Carrefour, and all my details are on it. What else is there? Oh, builders. Yeah, builders.
I haven't seen them for a year.
Yeah, we haven't seen them for a year. Yes, don't get me onto the balcony. They've ruined Christmas, ruined it. Builders' costs, got to be careful on them because they fluctuate quite considerably, depending who they are, and because of the way the area is, it's hard to gauge who's good. So it's always worth checking with other people who they're using, because some of them are absolutely abysmal. And some of them half finish a job and disappear. I mean, with Igor, he's supposed to come back, but I think he's just that busy. Where other people, who was it? Recently had somebody turn up and they just disappeared on them. May. Yeah. So what did they do? They started the
digging underground for another week. After digging, they're gone.
Yeah. So they did the other.
Supposed to do the other.
So they were doing like an under area of a
Preparing
house,
it,
yeah. So like for a basement.
yeah.
So they dug an area out. I'm supposed to come back and do the other area. Never seen him again. That happens a lot. I thought it was only the Philippines that did that to us. Builders disappear and they're over the road drinking beer and playing mahjong. So it's all right. We've got enough money for a couple of weeks and we'll come back and ask you for a job back once we run out of money. But yeah, disappear. I just want the balcony done because the rest of it I can do myself. But I'm a bit wary about smashing the ballast sails out in case any of them fall.
Allowing you.
And the woman won't let me do it. Otherwise I would. I keep getting tempted. I keep looking and going, I could sledgehammer that out. And April looks at me and goes, no. But we'll see. I might just pay all that money off on the mortgage instead of the conservatory and that for now. And then by the time I save it again, there'll probably be a builder available. I just think sod's law. The other things I could think of is probably the flight costs, which I think I averaged less than €200 return on the flights. But I always try and book Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I shouldn't say this because other people start doing exactly the same and that'll push the prices up. But what I try and do is fly out on a Wednesday and fly back on a Thursday, or the other way around, based on my own meetings at work, because we've just had a business change which may make it a bit easier for booking. But I'm trying to get back every fortnight now, which the kids are loving. April's probably thinking, there's a lot more washing up to do. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this bloke keeps sitting on my sofa. But beyond that, I think that's pretty much covered all the general costs. And would I recommend it? Is probably a big thing. 100%. I've got to be honest. Being in Northampton does sort of drive you to want to be anywhere else but Northampton. So that it is probably the most miserable place I've ever been on the planet. And I mean that in a good way. No, I don't. No, it is not a great place, and I've been all over the UK and in many countries, and I do find that is probably the worst place I've been. It just seems to have so many things that have gone wrong there and nothing being put right. And I can't blame the council.
Except for the shoe factory.
Yeah, but even the shoe factories are shutting down. Yeah, but that's when they had money. Now it's got a bankrupt council.
No,
When Clark's and everybody were there, that's when it was in its heyday. It used to be like a bit of an attraction, I believe, for those coming out of London. But these days, it's got a lot of HMOs, which are the multi-occupancy houses for all the people that work at the Amazon and the sandwich factories and all that sort of stuff in Northampton. So it's took a knock on the community sense. Does seem to be very run down just generally, and a lot of cheap stuff. There's a lot of takeaways. I mean, a lot of takeaways. Because obviously with such a large community of HMOs, there's a lot of people that order takeaways. So when you do a comparison, it is a bit biased. But I do think here, it's November. I was out doing Christmas lights earlier. Let's have a quick look at some of the Christmas lights, because I'm still working out here. So I've got these ones up here, which have gone in, and we got the little frosted trees here, and a little tree with the LED lights on it. I need to turn around that and go again. So, there. See, we go solar. Then over here, I've just done the icicles, and I'm just doing some similar ones upstairs on the balcony on the roof. And these are the old lights from last year, which I just took down. Not working very well. But yeah, like now, it's November. It's warm out. Sun's out as well. And this bad thing is it's over that side now. But when I come out earlier, just come out and I thought, bloody hell, it's warm out here. Which for the time of year was great. Yeah, so I can't really knock it in any form. I do find plants are expensive, but to be fair, it's me. I do spend a lot of money on plants. These are our little community here, and I've got them through the house and upstairs. These are pretty good. These are pretty hardy. Let me get some more of those. But you can see the difference between that one that's sat in the sun and that one that's sat there. That one seems to be growing well and all nice and green. This one's a bit scorched. But yeah, I can't really think of anything really to complain about. It's all fairly positive. And the neighbours are great as well. So there's nothing really to whinge about. So I think that pretty much covers everything for today. And this is probably one of my longest videos of me just nattering on about nonsense. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care.